Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Jessie Grieve Carlson. I use both they, them, and she, her pronouns, and I serve as the manager of external affairs and affiliate relations with NGLCC. Happy Friday and welcome to Sip and Pitch. I hope you all have your beverages. I have my La Croix seltzer here. Next slide, please. Thank you. Thank you so much to our judges who are with us today. We have Annette Setzer, who works at Corning as the Supplier Diversity Program Manager. With us also is Jennifer Marks, who is the Senior Program Manager at Insight in their Supplier Diversity Program Office. And last but not least, we also have Bob Chapsky, who is the Director of Category Governance and Contract Enablement with American Express. Thank you all so much for serving as judges today and providing feedback to our three presenters. It's going to be a great time. So before we get started, I'm going to lay out some of our rules and guidelines for folks. Each company who's presenting today has 5 minutes to pitch. There's going to be one presenter from each participating company. And following that presentation, our judges are going to have 10 minutes to give feedback and any questions they might have. And if our presenter doesn't have a formal PowerPoint presentation, not a problem at all. This program is designed to be informal and provide real-time feedback for your company's pitch. If you're not speaking, please mute your microphone. I also invite you to use the renaming tool and add your pronouns to your name there. If you'd like to, that'd be great. Team NGLCC, my colleague Lacey today is going to be our timer, and Lacey will have a little chime go off when there's 60 seconds left during the presentation and at 30 seconds remaining. And this is a judgment-free zone. This is designed to help you enhance your pitch and grow your company, and all feedback is shared in the spirit of collaboration. So we are here to encourage each other, support one another, and empower our LGBTQ business owners. And lastly, but not least, have fun today. Thank you so much for being here. And let's get started. We're going to go with our first presenter today, Sarah Scala Consulting. Sarah, I'm going to make you co-host so that you have sharing capabilities.
All right.
Awesome.
And folks see my screen?
Yep.
Excellent. Let me know
get started whenever you're ready.
Excellent. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Scala. I am the founder and president of Sarah Scala Consulting, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. Today, I am wearing a pink striped button-up shirt, some glasses. I have white skin, brown hair, and hazel eyes. Let's get started. Do you need to build your leaders? Do you want to retain your employees? Do you manage diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging? That's what we do. Here's a few other things that we do. We provide executive and LGBT leadership coaching, leadership development, public speaking, change management, diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, consulting. And these are some of the amazing organizations we've had the honor to support and partner with. We are an award-winning diverse supplier. We are certified through the NGLCC as a LGBT business enterprise, in addition to being certified by the Small Business Association as a women-owned small business. We also have won some great awards. Just last week, I was awarded the SBA's Micro Enterprise of the Year Award, and I've also won some awards about my coaching, leadership development, and LGBTQ support. So why should you work with Sarah Scala Consulting? Well, I'm a high energy senior talent management leader, and I'm really focused on connecting client revenue, reducing turnover, and really adding value through people development programs. And these programs are sometimes for managers, supervisors, employees, executives, or even boards of directors. I have 25 years experience in facilitating development programs for thousands of participants. I've been picked to provide staff and leadership development for both local and global clients. I'm chosen to speak at global and national conferences, and I coach Fortune 500 clients, CEOs, boards of directors, and leaders. Wanted to share a few ways that my work has helped to reduce turnover over the past 10 years. I've designed mentor programs that in 1 year reduce turnover by 88% for a financial industry client. I've also designed mentor programs to improve productivity and skill mastery, ramping up skills by 33% in 1 year. I've done succession development that has improved retention for high potentials. I've executive coached over 400 leaders, and I've led thousands of leaders through innovative national and global leadership development programs. I've also helped clients increase their revenue, and I've done this by helping them to support sales, building innovation by having workplaces and teams that are psychologically safe, strengthening global effectiveness, especially during expansions and mergers. And I've also supported organizational restructures along with boards of directors. And how do we add value? These are just a few ways. Again, supporting clients through divestitures and acquisitions, designing succession for 125-year-old companies, enhance leadership skills for mental health organization, build competencies in the real estate industry, and strengthen the learning design for Fortune 500 clients. I am accepting new clients and booking now for both Pride workshops that take place in June and national coming out programs that take place in October, at least in the United States. I want to thank everyone for their time. And if anyone would like to connect, here's some of my contact information.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sarah. We are going to move to our judges here, and let's say, Bob, would you like to share your feedback first with us?
Absolutely. So Sarah, I thought that was really great. I think you have really good presence, especially in the video. A very clear voice. I think you're what I really liked was at the very beginning, you opened with those questions, and it really kind of brought the audience in, and they really wanted to kind of hear more about it. And then you continued to talk about some of the awards and credentials, which really adds to the authenticity, and it just makes people want to hear more. And I thought it was a very good presentation.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Bob. Jen, would you like to share your feedback next?
Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly with Bob. I think that, Sarah, what I appreciated right off the bat is your high energy, right? That's super important, especially with the clientele and potential clientele that you're working to bring in, right, for your business. What I always look for next is not just the what, but the how, right? And you nail that as well. I think that for how much experience that you have and how much the different type of clientele, the enterprise clientele that you've been helping, I think that what would kind of take you over the top is, I see you've got a brand, right? It's on the first slide. I think if you weave that through your entire presentation, right? So it's a little bit further branded all the way to the end, I think would be like the icing on the top, especially when your key target audience is those enterprise clients, right, who are doing the same thing.
Excellent, Jennifer. I really appreciate that feedback. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thanks, Jennifer. And last but not least, Annette.
Yeah, absolutely concur with Jennifer and Bob. Sarah, you did a fantastic job. I love the overall presentation, the look and feel of the presentation, right? And as Jennifer said, the energy you brought to that. I think that, with all the, fantastic things you were doing with this presentation, you did have a little time left, right? And I think that maybe hearing a little bit more around the things that, the experiences within your team or how large your team might be. And if you have particularly a regional footprint, or what coverage area where your sweet spots are. And then I also think that perhaps a little bit around what might differentiate you from others who are working in the same space that you are. But overall, really great pitch. I love the fact that you were able to show the types of clients you were working with, and also some of the things that awards you've won, right? And be able to share that. And maybe you can expand on that and tell us a little bit of the why. But overall, just a fantastic pitch. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Annette. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. And Sarah, do you have any questions for our judges?
Well, do you think I had too much font on some of those slides with the bullets? Because I went back and forth, and I could stand up and tell you stories all day, of course, but I also want to be accommodating to those that may have hearing or visual impairments. And so sometimes having words on the screen helps to accommodate those folks. So I'm just curious.
I mean, I'm unmuted, so I think I could start. I did love the way you introed yourself and making sure that you were very inclusive of all. And so I think that resonated in your presentation. Many of those bullets you could have just spoken to very easily, and it would have been very powerful for folks that were hearing everything. But for those that were not, I think that carries over and was reflective of your sincerity in that approach.
Okay, thanks, Annette.
And
Yeah,
Sarah, I don't think you overloaded, if that's what you're kind of, right?
Okay.
I don't think that you did. I've seen slides that there is no white space, and then that does get confusing. It was easy to follow along. So I thought you did great there.
Thank you. It's funny because I had this deck branded on every slide, and one of my mentors was like, just put it on the home slide. And he was like, you don't need your pronouns. You don't. I was like, yes, I do. Like, you don't understand the audience for the pitch. But I'm trying to teach him as well. So.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. That was an amazing presentation. We are going to move to our next presenter, who is Jeff Wahlberg of Pilot. And Jeff, do you have a presentation you'd like to share?
I do, yes.
Great.
So
I'm going to make you a
to share. That would
co-host.
be terrific. I get a thumbs up from someone that they've seen Pilot on the screen. Okay, perfect. Well, again, my name is Jeff Wahlberg. My pronouns are he, him, and I lead the partnerships team at Pilot. Pilot is a comprehensive employee development program, and our mission is helping everyone feel powerful at work. But where Pilot really started is with a challenge and an opportunity that we see in the HR space and the talent space. Our team has extensive background in employee development and HR. We meet with HR professionals every day from all sorts of companies, from startups to high growth firms and longtime industry leaders. And while those are all different, they're all facing similar talent and employee development challenges. And the one that bubbles to the top is on retention and developing talent. Even with dynamic economic conditions, it's still a war for talent for many organizations, which only makes attrition that much more painful and costly. You added that really high workloads and lack of employee development, especially in remote and hybrid environments. Employees too often are feeling burnt out, they're feeling disengaged. Managers who maybe were promoted during the pandemic quicker than they normally would have don't have the skills or the experience they need to help their teams develop and succeed. And then you layer on top of that, HR and talent professionals are feeling an increased pressure to develop strong leadership, talent pipeline, a focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so now more than ever, it's urgent and critical for organizations and enterprises to address these challenges. That said, traditional methods that HR and talent leaders often use too often miss the mark. HR leaders look typically on 5 key areas when they think about HR and talent programs. They need to be effective, interactive, affordable, scalable, and sustainable. If it's not effective, it doesn't reach and have the impact it's meant to. If it's not interactive, employees aren't engaging. If it's not affordable, then it has to be in the budget. If it's not scalable, they can't reach enough people to have an impact. And if it's not sustainable, it's not something they can repeat month over month and year after year. And this is where we feel at Pilot, we have an opportunity for our solution that hits on these 5 key areas that's quick and effective at engaging employees. It's affordable and it's easy to prove the value and scale over time. So in a nutshell, Pilot is a comprehensive employee development program. It's built on 4 core experiences. And these experiences are specifically chosen because they're what HR and talent leaders often want to create, but don't have the time or the resources to do so. So they are flexible individual reflection activities focused on reflection and self-awareness. Second is professional group coaching done in a cohort model. Third is manager feedback and future-focused development. And fourth is executive fireside chats with senior leaders. And Pilot works because it engages employees in their own development. It teaches them the unwritten rules of work. It's the foundation of what almost every employee needs to be successful in their careers. And it centers on the employee. It's not just HR pushing learning and development on an employee. It's about them taking direct ownership of their own career advancement. And the program is proven and effective. We utilize certified professional coaches who are perfectly positioned to both challenge and support the employees that they're working with. Pilot has been recognized by and proven with customers and brands that you recognize and awards from some of the top players and influencers in the HR and talent space. We've even received awards from some of our own customers. But more than that, it's not just our customers in the wider industry. It's the employees who have been through the Pilot's program that love it and that can speak to the impact of the program. We've got industry-leading benchmarks across key metrics like CSAT, intent to stay, manager development, MAU, NPS scores. And with Pilot's program for the employees, it's really about creating an environment where they feel valued, they feel invested and recognized by their organization. They learn to prioritize their own development. They feel empowered to advocate for themselves and their own needs, maybe for the first time. And they connect meaningfully with their colleagues and teammates so they feel like they found a place where they belong at their organization, which ultimately aligns back to where I started with that first slide and Pilot's mission, which is helping everyone feel powerful at work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeff. That was great. We're going to go to Annette first. If you'd like to give your feedback, Annette.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, excellent. So Jeff, very good presentation. I loved the way you just jumped right in and said who you like to work with and hit on some of the key enablers in terms of what makes you successful and what makes Pilot successful. I think one of the things that I love seeing the awards and the clients, as we talked about, and it's kind of seeing the scope of what you're doing. And it may be that maybe something that you could consider including is when you're speaking to, I think, you mentioned at the beginning that you're speaking to HR and talent acquisition of talent teams probably on a daily basis. How you best enable a company that might have similar programs already and perhaps even expect that their program is very successful. I think if you could maybe expand a little bit on how you could take what a company is already doing and really enhance that, and you can kind of work with what they already have. And of course, folks have very different levels of what they offer in terms of the space you're working in. So just a great presentation. You delivered it well. I love the deck again, and I thought it was the right balance of graphics and other bullet points. So good job.
Thanks, Annette. Appreciate that. Super helpful feedback and a common comment that comes up. So it's really great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Annette. And Jen, would you like to go next?
Sure. Although I don't know I have much to add. I think Annette really hit the key points. I thought, Jeff, it was a super smooth presentation. I think it was very well timed. I always love a presentation when you just come out the gate with the mission, right? It makes it very clear for everyone. And then you had really nice flow between, the challenge, the opportunity, especially with the matrix, right? So even if someone got lost in words, it was very easy to see exactly what you're working to target. And I think the impact slide especially, right, is what everybody is there to understand. How can you, impact our organization? And so to agree again with Annette, what I would be looking for is, again, coming from an enterprise, Fortune 500 company, we do have programs like this. So I would be wanting to know exactly how you could supplement what I already have.
Terrific. Thanks, Jennifer. I really appreciate that.
Sure.
Thanks, Jennifer and Bob. Oh, you're muted, Bob. Sorry.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I agree with the others. It was a very good presentation. A couple of things that really jumped out to me. One, when you talked about kind of the war for talent, you really tied that to what's going on in the industry right now. So that's kind of a hot topic for people. And so I think that was really good. You even had like some of the news articles on the screen, so it made it feel very current. And the other thing that I thought was really good is the way you focused on what not only your corporate customers think, but also the actual employees, because your colleagues or your customers in HR, they're really looking to support, their employees. And so, knowing that it's something that, that the employees feel that they've gotten great benefit out of is very important. And at the very, very end, when you kind of wrapped everything up and went to the beginning, I thought that was really kind of a clever way to kind of tie it all together. It made it seem very professional.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate that. Great feedback. Appreciate the encouragement.
Awesome. And Jeff, do you have any questions for the judges?
Yeah, I do. I think about, especially with the 3 judges coming from supplier diversity roles, like what, if I had 5 minutes in the room, is it more important for you to hear, and both would be perfect, but to hear like the business value that Pilot delivers, or is it just as important or more as important to hear about like Pilot as a business, as a like where we started, who we are, what's our geographic footprint, like who we work with? I mean, not that those are mutually exclusive, but if I only had so much time, where would you want to hear the focus on if you had 5 minutes again?
Jesse, does it matter who starts, or how do you want to do that?
Go right ahead, Annette. Whoever would like to answer that.
Next time someone else can go first. How's that? So no, I think it's a great question, Jeff, and it's absolutely what you should be asking. You only had 5 minutes today, so you had to get to it extremely quickly. And you could meet a supplier diversity professional that doesn't have any sourcing background. Now I do, and I have a lot of sourcing background, so I may know the questions to ask. Some supplier diversity value props. So I think bringing that value prop to life very quickly so that they know who to reach out to internally in their organization to share the great work that you do, right? And you did that today. Each of you so far in the presentation, you've really nailed that, both of you, fantastically. And if you only have a few minutes, if someone leaves with more questions than they have answers, it may not drive their ability to share you internally, and you could really add value. They'll immediately get that connection. So help them make that connection as quickly as possible, so that they don't have to try to make it themselves. That would be my encouragement, but it's a great question.
Thanks, Annette. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I agree with Annette. I think that when I'm meeting with diverse suppliers, I need to know very quickly what your challenge is, right? That you're trying to solve. So I know how to pair you very quickly within the company, right, with the right audience that's looking for the solution. So that's going to be what I look for right away. I want to know, obviously, the rest of what you mentioned, right? I want to know about you. I want to know, right, your awards. I want to know how much experience you have and all of that. But very quickly, if you only have a few moments with a professional, you'd want to target what's that challenge that you're trying to help me solve.
Great. Thanks, Jennifer.
I agree with what Jennifer and Annette said. You always want to start, I think, with what the business impact, because we want to use diverse suppliers, but we're not going to, spend money on a supplier that's not going to add value. So.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you, all three. Really appreciate it.
That's a great question. One thing I would add is sometimes you can ask a question to very quickly get to what is it that a company might need today, because there's a spectrum of what we may all need something that you offer, but at a different level and at a different place. And that might help you deliver that message very quickly as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Love that.
Any other feedback for Jeff before we move to our last presenter? Okay, thank you so much, Jeff. That was great. And we are now going to move to our final presenter for this sip and pitch. And we have Elliot from Pure Water Factory. Elliot, you're going to have a 5-minute timer to give your business pitch. No problem that you don't have a presentation, and you can get started whenever you're ready.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Elliot Durant. I am the owner of Pure Water Factory. I make everything inclusive, being Black and Jewish. So that right away. I am minority certified by the county. I am micro business certified, and we are certified for the Miami-Dade County Public Schools. What we do is Pure Water Factory is the premier and one of the first ultra pure alkaline drinking water stores ever in Miami-Dade County. And pure, clean water, we feel, should not be a privilege, it's a right. So what we have done is we've priced our Pure Water Factory alkaline water at only $3 a gallon, so that not only the people in the penthouses can afford it, but the people that are in Little Haiti, because water is so essential to life. Our bodies are about 75% water. Our blood viscosity is 90% water. Our kidneys, liver, heart, and lungs, and most organs are saturated in about 80% of water. My best analogy for folks is if you go to a gas station, you put 87 in a probably beat up car or something that doesn't really need an octane. But if you want a high performance vehicle, you're going to put 93 octane. Most people do not treat their bodies like a McLaren, which they should, because your body is your temple and water is life. You can only go 3 days without water. You can fast for as long as you need, but water is 3 days. After that, your organs and your body shut down. We are one of the only providers available for hurricane and disaster services. I presently supply, in second year, the solid waste division for the entire city of Miami with their emergency water, Opelika City Hall, Coral Gables City Hall. I am now going to be taking care of the fire department for Key Biscayne, and we are here to take care of the entire county and public. We make 4,500 gallons of 9.5 ultra pure alkaline water in our store in 2625 Southwest 27th Avenue in Coconut Grove, between Dixie Highway and Coral Way. The noise you hear is because I'm doing some loading right now. Tomorrow, we have been asked by the Mayor Cava, to supply the National Alliance of Mental Illness Walk at Miami Marlins Stadium. We are donating 120 gallons, and I'm putting together 4 water stations so that we can bring awareness to mental illness, which is plaguing our country tragically. We offer free delivery if you're within 7 miles of Coconut Grove, our store. After that, it is only a $7 charge. There is no contract and no subscription. We are not like the big companies. We are family owned. We are a Black-owned minority business. We also donate 2% of our earnings to the community. And right now that's to the 100 Black Men of Southern Florida and also to the Boys and Girls Club. And we just come and we do free pop-ups and water for organizations that need them, like the National Alliance of Mental Illness. There is no other place that you can go to get such water. The water that is on the shelves has been made months and months ago, and by who knows where and by what. And our water goes through ultraviolet light to break down the RNA and the DNA of the bacterial pathogens so they can never live and actually grow again. We also put our water through ozone, and it's mineralized with ceramic mineral beads, which supply at least 20 plus nutrients that your body needs. the purest and cleanest water available. Most people have identified the taste of our water as being similar to that in France, Germany, Canada, and countries like that. And the one thing that those all have in common is glacier. So it's the best compliment I could have gotten. Somebody from Norway to tell me that this tasted like water from home. So we provide that for you here in Miami-Dade County. It's just a phone call away at 786. 431-1018. And after you call, the easiest thing about us is you don't even have to call to reorder. You just go to the phone number and text. And then put your empty bottles outside your door, go about your day, come home, the water is there. When we know the hurricane is coming, add to your order a week earlier, and we take care of you. And that's pretty much it. There is nothing else like it. The way I did it was I came here 2.5 years ago, just briefly, went running 8 miles at the hotel. I went back to the hotel and asked them, where was there a water store to fill up my water bottle? And they asked me, what is a water store? So I went back to California, where I'd come from, came back 6 months later with a business plan, financing, and went and found property, leased it for 8 years, and I've been in business now 16 months. We have just passed 520 customers. We have 4 cities contracts, and we are not going anywhere. We also have Jungle Island, and the only people we don't have is you guys. We can supply your homes and your offices and your businesses just like that. No
That is
contract, no
amazing.
subscription.
Thank you so much, Elliot. We're at 5 minutes, so I'm going to pass it over to our judges. Jennifer, would you like to go next and share your feedback?
Sure. I think that Elliot, first and foremost, what's very clear from the start is not just your passion, but your experience, your knowledge level of what you're putting forward. I think what would be helpful for me to know, I mean, obviously you are bringing forward a spectacular product that you are focusing on certain key areas. But I think what would be more helpful to me in your pitch, and maybe the idea is you have multiple pitches, is better understanding who the audience is, because I think you probably have a couple of key targets, and it would be helpful, right, to know who the audience is, and then have a very streamlined presentation for each of those. So that's something that kind of stood out to me. The other thing that I think is helpful to know, right, is the facts that you brought forward about water. But I think where they would belong in a pitch would be not spread out through the entire presentation, but in a key slide or in a key a specific segment on that information specifically, versus kind of spread out through the conversation or through the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Bob, would you like to share your feedback next?
Yeah, no, actually, some of the notes I jotted down align very well with what Jennifer said. I think it was your passion comes through, and your knowledge comes through. Obviously, it's not the ideal situation to be standing there and as opposed to sitting at a desk, but I think your voice was very clear, and it was very you carried very well. But I do think it seemed like it was intended for somebody who lives in Miami as opposed to kind of a national audience. So I think, again, what Jennifer said, knowing your audience would help. And the subject seemed kind of to jump around a little bit. You were talking about the water, and then you kind of jumped into more of the charity work that your company does, and then you're kind of back to the water. So a little bit more structure would probably help.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. And Annette.
Yeah, absolutely. Elliot, good job. Clearly you're a busy fellow and trying to load today and doing this, outdoors. So good job. I think you articulated the value of the water very well. And I am in North Carolina. I love alkaline water. I don't think I'm within your footprint right now. So I would encourage you to perhaps share, and maybe I am, but I want to know that. And if your footprint is really that Miami-Dade region for now, perhaps many companies you may be pitching to have a larger presence. So you might be able to share if you have any plans to scale, or how you might be able to service someone that has multiple locations potentially outside of your footprint area. And I think, how to come to you, like, what is your capacity, and, ordering process, because I think very quickly someone could convert an existing water plan to what you're doing. So I think what you're doing is great. Also, I think maybe hearing how your product stands apart or is differentiated from, where I'm sure you're very familiar with what that is, and other products that are available on the market today. So how is yours different or better, or what's sets you apart? I think also you hit on something where you were talking about gallons, right? So what's your delivery mechanism, right? Is it gallon containers? Is it a mix of something very sustainable, recyclable, recycling the bottles? I think hearing that, especially for those, sustainability is certainly top of mind for many, most all corporations, and even smaller if you're doing B2B work. So I think addressing what sustainable solutions you may have for delivery would be fantastic. And again, knowing that you are outside trying to put this together as you're in the middle of something else, I can't complain about the delivery, right? I think the question is, how do we come to you? And if we are in your area and your service footprint area, how could we start doing business with you? So sharing the easy way that you have set it up for us to engage you. Really good job. Great presentations for everyone. So I don't have anything else to add to the presentation. I think Bob and I'm drawing a blank now, and Jennifer did fantastic.
Thank you so much, Annette. Elliot, do you have any questions for our judges?
No, I hear exactly what they're saying, and I appreciated it. I probably should have injected that when we use BPA-free recyclable bottles and those kinds of things. I should have injected that, absolutely. But thank you for all the feedback. It's definitely very educational, and I'll be using it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Elliot. I hope I get to drink your water sometime, because it made me want to get some better tap water for myself.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much. That was our final presentation. If anyone from our audience has questions for our three presenters, feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or if you have a question for our judges, we're going to have closing thoughts. If our judges have any final thoughts for us before we move into our community and conversation portion. Okay, any final thoughts before we move forward?
So I think I wanted to add just a final thought. First and foremost, thank you, NGLCC, for inviting myself and the rest of the group to be judges. This is a lot of fun, and what a great group today. Three uniquely different service and product areas, and excellent all the way around. It was fantastic to be able to support this today and hear what you all have to offer, and hopefully this continues to move you forward in terms of your growth as well.
Thank you so much, Annette. That's really sweet. And for you all to take the time to be here and provide feedback to our suppliers, it's awesome. Alfredo has one question. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask if you'd like to.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. So my question is about submitting the presentations. Do we have to submit the presentations every month, or just once? That's it.
For being a presenter at Sip and Pitch, is that your question?
Yes.
Yeah, so we have an application form that I can put the link in the chat here, and we get a lot of applications. So you'll hear from NGLCC in the future, but it won't be like for the very next event because
Okay.
we get a high volume of applications. But I'll share that application link with you, and you can apply to pitch your business at a future event. That would be
I
great.
already filled it out. My question was if we have to keep submitting it every time or just
No,
that one time
Yep,
was
just
enough.
that one time, and we'll reach out to you. We pull from that list kind of from the bottom up. So if you did it recently, it might take a little bit, but you will hear from us.
Okay, sounds great.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for applying.
Thank you.
Any other final thoughts before we move into our community and conversation portion?
Jesse, could you tell us how we could have copies of the presentations that were done today, that were completed today?
Absolutely. Yeah, if I'll reach out to our presenters and ask them to send those slides, and I'll connect everyone to have those. We'll also have the recording up on our YouTube channel, so I'll send that out to folks as well. And feel free to also send your contact info in the chat here if folks want to. Oh, thank you, Gunnar. Gunnar sent our sip and pitch application form in the chat too. That's great. So if folks want to send their contact info in the chat and keep in touch, we'll also send the slides out as well as the recording. Okay, if nothing else, we can move to our community and conversation portion. Thank you all. We're actually going to be talking about our 2023 International Business and Leadership Conference during this portion, and that is taking place August 15th to the 18th in Denver, Colorado. We're going to show a quick video to get you all excited about the conference.
Great time in Las Vegas, NGLCC.
This room makes me happy. When I come to this conference, I get to combine my day job and my gay job. Not a lot of people get to say that, so.
Thank you all so much. Wonderful Allies has made our 20 years of success possible.
Congratulations are in order on 20 years, and it's really a vibe.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
It's a whole vibe.
This is a huge conference, the biggest of its kind.
The energy is amazing.
My first time here as a small business owner and just meeting lots of new people and having a great time.
I love to be in the company of so many diverse businesses.
Visibility and representation is even more important and powerful than I had known.
Because there's never been a more opportune time.
Friends, that is the reach of the network in this room.
They'll call you a fool whether you dance or not. So you might as well dance.
So those were some clips from last year's conference in Las Vegas, which was my first NGLCC conference, and it was so much fun, as you can obviously see. I'm going to invite my colleague Sarah Bell to talk a little bit more about the conference, and then we can have a casual conversation, hear from folks who have been there before, hear from folks who haven't and might have some questions and want to hear more. So Sarah Bell, take it away.
Sure thing. Thank you, Jesse. My name is Sarah Bell. I use she, they pronouns. I am the NGLCC's Events and Corporate Relations Manager. I am a white genderqueer person with short brown hair, wearing a blue button up with little white flowers in a room filled with lots of natural light. It is such a pleasure to be with you all today. I have to admit, I'm a little bit nervous coming up after so many great presentations. Really great job, everyone. I am always happy to share space with you all, and always happy to talk about one of the biggest events that the NGLCC puts on every year. This is one of our 2 signature events, the 2023 International Business and Leadership Conference. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a teaser. Of course, it's going to be August 15th through the 18th this year in Denver, Colorado. Registration is now open, and you can check out our website. That's going to be dropped in the chat, maybe by one of my colleagues, but I'll definitely pop it in there soon. So this year, we're going to be bringing back a lot of the events and items that all of our attendees have loved from years past, including a robust day-long matchmaking event. We'll also have an expanded expo hall for this year. Of course, all of our engaging and inspirational keynote speakers at our daily plenary sessions. And we'll also be bringing back loads of educational breakout sessions led by some of the most innovative minds in the industry. These are going to be covering a variety of unique tracks that are dedicated to reach all of our attendees. Some of these tracks are going to include best practices in DE&I, supplier diversity and procurement, scaling up your ERGs and BRGs, and of course, business leadership, business growth, and development. We'll also be capping off this year's conference with the closing award champagne brunch, which will be taking the place of our annual national dinner. We have sunset that, but we are glad to bring all of those awards and all of those moments for joy and celebration, focusing on honoring some of the leaders in our community who have dedicated so much of their work and strength to improving the opportunities for the LGBTQ+ business community. So when we do drop that link in the chat, you'll be able to preview the agenda from our website. You'll also be able to see a FAQ that answers some of the hot questions. You'll see the link to book your room within our room block for a discounted rate. And unique to this year, we're also going to be taking a special look at how healthy businesses can foster healthy communities and healthy lives. We're going to be leaning on some of our relationships with our partners in this area to take a look through some unique activations and learning from them how, when we put the focus on health and health matters, we can really build a better world for all of us. So again, of course, registration has launched not only for the conference itself, but also for the expo hall. So if you're interested in hosting a booth over at our Marketplace Expo, you can find the link to that from our main link with the conference information. You'll see everything you need to know about hosting a booth over at our Marketplace Expo and the links to register for that. I really hope that this has helped frame up the conference a little bit better for all of you. I hope that we're excited for this year. I definitely tend to look at this, it might be a little bit cheesy, but it's kind of like a big NGLCC family reunion where we can all gather, learn from each other, grow, and celebrate the year. So I will pass it back over to Jesse to help lead us in a conversation about conference. Maybe we can answer some questions. And of course, any other questions that you might have, you can email them over to me or to our conference email, which is going to be conference@nglcc.org. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Sarah. To get started, I invite folks, if you have been to an NGLCC conference before, click that reaction button and send a reaction here. I'm going to do the confetti one for myself. Let's see how many folks have attended conference before who are on the call. Okay. We got some alumni of the NGLCC conference here. Folks who have attended before, does anyone want to share about either a favorite aspect of the event or perhaps a memory from a specific event that you'd like to share with the group?
Yeah, I'll go. This is Bob Chapsky from American Express. I have already registered. This will be my third conference, so I'm looking forward to it. I The first time I went was in Tampa, and I did not participate in the walk and talks, but I did participate in the walk and talks in Vegas. And so I thought that was really very memorable, because it's just a great opportunity for corporates to meet with kind of in a one-on-one in a very relaxed setting. So I recommend that.
That is awesome. And I bet this year it will not be as hot as it was in Las Vegas too. Anyone else have a favorite aspect of the event or memory you'd like to share?
So I'll share a couple things. One, if you have never attended, whether you are a corporate member or also an entrepreneur, it's a must. It's a must. You must attend. It's there's so much advantage around the connections that you'll make there, and I just have so many memories of connections I've made at my very first event was in Chicago, and it's debatable as to what year that was. I even asked Justin, what year was that, right? I think it was around 2011, but I remember meeting an entrepreneur. It was his first time. He said, I don't even know what this is. And we met first night at a bar, nothing had started yet. And now he is a very successful, they have a very successful business. He speaks often at these conferences. So I think whether you're a corporate representative trying to meet potential new suppliers, or you are an entrepreneur that has never attended, the value of this is powerful. I can't even begin to put it into words what you can accomplish there. And so as Bob said, the walk and talks, all the informal, the formal scheduled things, and then all of the informal opportunities. And frankly, sometimes the best connections happen when it's not planned. You know, I love matchmakers. Highly encourage you, if you're certified LGBTBE, to do matchmakers as well. Yeah, there's a lot to do, and it's a fantastic event. So lots of good stuff.
Thank you so much, Annette. I'm wondering if folks on the call who haven't been to conference before might have questions about the event itself, or if you have been to the event, also if you have advice for newcomers in order to make the most of the event, either one.
I have one, Jesse. I have a suggestion for any newcomers to the conference. Also, hi everyone, Gunnar Gardner, Senior Manager for NGLCC NY. First and foremost is comfy shoes, because you will be doing a lot of walking. And that will be something you need to make sure that you pack is comfy shoes, and also plenty of business cards, because a lot of great business connections happen at the conference. And as Sarah Bell said, it really is like a big gay homecoming almost, because you're meeting people that you've exchanged, or had sort of exchanges and interactions with, and you're meeting them maybe for the first time. And it's highly encourage anybody to attend that is able to.
Thank you so much, Gunnar. Last year was my first conference, and I packed a pair of shoes that are made by Crocs, but they're like little platform wedges. They're really cute. And in the airport, they broke right in half. And I had to like walk around the airport in my broken in half shoes until I had got to Las Vegas and got a new pair of shoes. But yes, the comfy shoes, so important. Alfredo, did you have a question or advice you wanted to share?
That's a question, actually. I just signed up today for the event, so I'm looking forward to it. Really excited. And the question that I have is, can you give us a little bit more information about the induction ceremony? I was just recently certified, and it appears that I'm going to be standing in front of people over there. So I would like to know more about what is that like.
That is amazing. Congratulations. Sarah Bell, are you able to give us some info on that?
If Sarah can, I can. Oh, go ahead, Sarah.
Okay, Gunnar, go for it. Love it.
No, after you.
Well, I was going to share, I have definitely the event side of the schedule and sort of the general run of show, that aspect. When it comes to the actual details of sending in your information to be included in that, I think that is where Gunnar will come in. But yes, we do have an induction ceremony that typically takes place over the course of our first day's plenary. So for our Wednesday and our Wednesday morning and Wednesday afternoon plenary sessions. So through this, we're going to be inviting folks up to the stage who are new suppliers from the last calendar year. You'll be able to have your name called and your business called, shake hands with our folks who are up on stage, mostly our executive team and the board. It's a really lovely moment to be in the premier setting. First 3 hours of conference, your name is heard by every single attendee. So when that information rolls out, it's a little intimidating, but certainly encourage you to keep your eyes out and tuned for that notice. Gunnar, did you want to fill in a little bit more there?
No, you said it perfectly. Don't worry, there's no speech you have to give, anything like that. Think of it as like the Olympic Grand March of nations. You're walking out, you have your name called, you're smiling and waving. You receive a pin for being recognized as a certified BE. And your photograph is taken, shaking hands with board members and corporate partners, and then you sashay down the stage and through the ballroom. But yeah, nothing super intimidating. Just wear something nice, smile and wave. Yeah, and wear comfy shoes.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much.
And so excited to see you there too, Alfredo. Can't wait to see you.
Me too.
Thank you all. Any other questions for our experienced conference goers, or any other advice that you want to share for folks who might be attending for the first time?
I have a question, Jesse. So Insight, we are already registered, but this is our first year. So from a booth presentation perspective, what is too little or too much?
That's a great question. Who can I hand this to? Sarah Bell?
It would be me. And I would be happy to jump offline and share emails and go over this a little bit more into detail. So for our booth experience, we do kind of like the reverse setting. This has always been open to corporate partners first. It's a tabletop booth environment. So we usually encourage folks to have 1 to 2 people at the booth. It is a day-long event running from 10:30 to 5 in the afternoon. And we're going to be encouraging folks to stay in this area. We'll have food stalls and vendors. We'll have some live music, a couple of other unique activations to really encourage people to make the most of being in this space. We're also going to have matchmakers occurring on the other side of the room, not within the same room, but across the hall in a separate ballroom. So for this activation, we would encourage you to have at least 1 extra member of your team who could ensure that you maintained booth presence for the entire duration. But in terms of what you might want to bring, all those other items, I can definitely chat with you offline. Be happy to.
Perfect. Thank you.
Of course. Anything else?
Sarah, you mentioned expanded expo this year. Does that mean expanded in you have more space and therefore you'll have more booths, or are you just talking about expanding the hours? Because I think the hours are expanded compared to last year as well.
Fortunately, the answer is both. We do have a lot more space in this area, so we really wanted to take advantage of that and make it a very lively, engaging, full day long experience. So we've expanded the hours. We have space for more booths. We're hoping to have more of our suppliers join us as well. And we'll also be having these different vendors in the area to make the space a little bit more lively, popping, and just a joy to be around.
Awesome. Sounds great.
We're all looking forward to it, and I hope everyone is here too as well. Certainly, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them over in the chat or send them to the email I will drop within 2 seconds.
Nice. Thank you, Sarah. Any other final thoughts on conference, on today's sip and pitch? Thank you, Kyra, for sending the email. So if you have any general or very specific questions, you can send them to conference@nglcc.org and you will get an answer. And we are so excited to have you join us in Denver this August. It's going to be so much fun. Okay, well, I am so excited to invite you all to next month's Sip and Pitch, which is going to be a special Pride edition of Sip and Pitch on Friday, June 30th from 3:30 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a lot of fun. These events are always great. It's amazing to get to meet new LGBT business owners, hear what folks are up to, connect with folks. I hope you all are able to join us next month. And enjoy the rest of your Friday, your weekend, your Memorial Day weekend coming up. I hope that everyone has a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you all. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Thank you, Jesse.
all.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.